Hello, everyone. Hiya. Hello, everyone. Hello, wonderful parents. Hello, everyone out there in internet land. How are we all today? It's Sunday, which means we're looking at Sunday sessions. We've got 50 days to go until the year six SATs, year two SATs, year six SATs are coming up. And as I've been talking about, if you've been following these sessions over the last few weeks, you'll know that we've been talking about the SATs, talking about the power that SATs have to help drive confidence up or push confidence down. And that means that they have an awful lot of power to make your life hard, to make your children's life hard, and to create a lot of stress and pressure. And we want to take that off. At Case One-to-One, I want to do what I can to kind of help take that pressure off and help make sure your kids can go into school strong every day, and look at ability and confident, so they can live ambitious lives and that they can think a little bit bigger, and they can enjoy themselves. Because some people kind of think that school is a rehearsal for life, and it's not a rehearsal. It's not a rehearsal for later life. It's not a rehearsal for later life. To them, it's just life. This is what their life is. And I think to go through school like 12, 13, 14, 15 years of misery is not a nice life at all. And I think you're setting yourself up for a world of pain if you do that. I believe the kids should enjoy going to school every day, that they should like going to class, that they should enjoy their teachers, that they should enjoy their time there. And if that's not happening, if that case is that your child is not enjoying school for whatever for whatever reason, I think something's got to change, and you've got to do something about it. So make sure you're always having great conversations with your kids about how much they're enjoying it and how much they're not, and see if you can adjust it in whatever way to make sure they're always taking as much as they can from school. Because if they enjoy it, they'll want to go back, and if they want to go back, they'll learn more than if they don't. So the SAT's coming up 9th of May. That's what you want to put in the calendar, 9th of May. You're going to have a week of tests. They're going to be assessed in their maths, their English, and their English skills across a range of different areas. So in maths, they'll have 3 papers to do. They're going to have an arithmetic paper where they're going to have to work and think clear. They're going to have to think about all of the simple little questions. How easily can they solve little questions, really? That'll be under time pressure. I think it's about 40 minutes, I think, for that. And then they've got 2 reasoning papers, which are again about 45 minutes this year. Okay, 2 reasoning papers where they have to solve problems, mathematical problems. So you want to make sure they're giving them plenty of problems to solve, see how they're attacking them as well. All you've got to do is type in maths problems online. You'll get Key Stage 2 or Key Stage 1, and you'll get some great examples of it. I've got no doubt. Download them and see how your child attacks them. And if you've got some worries, if they kind of scream at you and go, "No, I don't want to do it. Please don't make me do maths." You've got a problem. You do need to reach out for support. You do need to reach out for help. And luckily, what we're doing at the moment is we're offering some free lives sessions over the course of the week. Sundays, Mondays and Wednesdays is when we're going to be doing it. Sundays, Mondays and Wednesdays. It says Thursdays down now. I've got to change that. I just can't do it. I'm just too busy. Let's hide that. Let's do that again. It's not very professional, is it? Come on, let's get rid of Thursdays. It's not going to do Thursdays. Okay, we're going to do Sundays and Wednesdays, and Sundays, Mondays and Wednesdays. We'll be looking at maths and grammar and some spellings to help you along the way. Let's see, in maths, we're focusing mainly on fractions, and that's one of the things I want to be talking to you about today, is about fractions, because these tend to cook the kids' brains quite a lot. They tend to be things that even a lot of teachers have trouble teaching, and certainly it's changed a lot since I was at school, a lot since you're probably at school as well. And so because of that, I'm just trying to give you a bit more hand holding, help you teach it well. So I've been doing it for like 13 years now, and I'm hoping I can help give you an edge. All right. And also the kids won't be able to turn around to you and say, "Hey, that's not how my teacher tells me to do it," because I am a teacher. I can help you to do it, and I can help you to be talk you through it really, really well. So, please get into the comments, say hello to me down in the comments. I want to hear from you as well, and let me hear some of the struggles you're having. If you think somebody you know has some trouble, then please do like and share us. Please do like and share us with families that you think might well be struggling. Maybe they know their kids tend to have trouble with maths or English in school, and it's making life difficult for the parents, because it will do, won't it? So please feel free to share it with them. Hopefully, I could be of some kind of service, some kind of help for them. That'd be quite good. We've also started our group sessions as well. This is obviously times are tough at the moment. Everything's getting more expensive, isn't it? Energy costs are going up, and that's pushing the cost of everything up. Let's be honest, not just your energy bill, but everyone's got to pay their energy, haven't they? all the shops on the high street, everyone's got to pay energy bills, so everything's getting more expensive. Plus, we've got inflation through the roof. Let's not bring the mood down by talking about all of this nonsense. But the point of the matter is that these sessions are fantastic. They're about as cheap as I can make them. £5 for an hour is amazing. They're group sessions. So we can leverage the power of the group to help push everybody forward as well, and make amazing progress for your little ones to do. So we're focusing on times table turnarounds. If your child is going to school without a complete set of times tables, from year 3, 4, 5, and 6, then they will have trouble accessing a lot of their maths. And by the end of year 4, they'll have a baseline assessment and are all about times tables. And so many children go into those without a complete set of times tables, and they will continue to struggle all the way through year 6. And I've found actually, I've been very, very lucky to teach children that are in year 3, and then also teach them in their GCSEs as well. How good is that? So, I actually see that so many of the barriers that I saw them struggling and wrestling with in year 3, they continue to struggle with all the way through their schooling, all the way up to high school. And those barriers are still there even when they get to high school, even when they get to their GCSEs, because obviously the education and the curriculum has to move on. And the high schools tend to have less and less time to teach some of the fundamentals and the important things that they need to, because their curriculum's huge. Their curriculum's huge. Don't blame the teacher. They're doing their best. The curriculum too, there's a lot to cover in a short space of time. So, today we're talking equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions today. What is a fraction? Let's see, if you've been listening to these, you've been learning, you should be able to tell me what a fraction is. A fraction is just a slice of something. That's all it is. An equal slice or part of something. That's it. So if you have a cake and you slice it up, you're slicing it into fractions. And then we talked about equivalent fractions. And what are equivalent fractions? Get it down. Get it written down if you can remember. Get it written down if you can remember. You can't remember. You're just hiding online. Come on, pull your finger out. Actually try and memorize it. That is the point of learning, after all, to get it into your head so you remember it and retain it and you can recall it. That's the point. If you can't recall it, you don't know. Simple as that. Hang on, what am I doing here? Just trying to get my notepad up on here. Hang on. La 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 la. There we go. I've done it now. Okay. What is an equivalent fraction? Fractions can cause a lot of pain for you all. I'm just going to plug in. I've forgotten to plug in. Give me a second. Sorry. I can be a bit of a jelly brain sometimes. So fractions have a lot of power to be able to... Come on, Mr. A. Should have done this already. I was just excited to speak to you all. That's all. I was just excited to speak to you all. That's all it is. Fractions have a lot of power. Equivalent fractions. Fractions that are equal but are sliced differently. And so we'll start off with a few little questions on that. There we go. Am I in now? I think I am. Well, I'll just share my screen if it lets me. Otherwise it won't work. Get your comments in there. Come on, load up. You're embarrassing me in front of the internet. Come on. I press that. Come on, quick time. Sort it out. Hey, there we go. I think we might be in business. Maybe. Stop recording. I don't want to record anything quick time. I'm sorry. I thought I had this all ready for you. How unprofessional. Here we go. Yeah. Come on, people waiting. Yay, we're there. I think we're there. Okay, then, awesome. So I'm going to share my screen across with you, wonderful, wonderful people. Here we go. Right, sorry, that took a bit longer than I'd like it to. And share. There we go. So, equivalent fractions. Fractions that are equal but are sliced differently. Fractions that are equal. So, equivalent fractions 2. Equivalent fractions 2. Equivalent fractions 2. Okay, so this is the second session on equivalent fractions. So fractions that are equal but are sliced differently. So this is very, very common that we might well have, say, a cake. And, you might slice that cake in half because that's all a fraction is. It's just a slice of something or a part of something. And we would write that like that. And it's very important that you can write fractions and that you can draw fractions. And you can say the fractions as well. So you should be able to say that's not 1/2, but 1/2. Okay, that would be the correct thing to say. Correct, mathematically correct to say that. We'd say that's 1/2. And a fraction is an equivalent fraction means equal. The word equivalent literally means equal to. So an equivalent fraction is equal, but is sliced differently. So here we might have a half, but then we could continue to slice it. So we could slice that in another half, and that into another half. And if we canter up, we'd say we've got 1, 2 slices that are blue, out of, and I often mean using that line to mean out of, or divide, out of or divide, that line means, out of a possible 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 slices there. So I might go to a party and say, hey, I'm going to have 2/4 of that cake, please, which would be the same as eating a half. And we wouldn't say it's the same, we'd say it's equivalent to. What would we say, everyone? Say it back to me. Equivalent to, that's right. So it'd be equivalent to a half. And in fact, the truth of the matter is, and lots of teachers would say, you know, that's the same. Lots of teachers would say, you know, that's the same. Having a half and having 2/4 is exactly the same, but it's not exactly the same, right? Because the truth of the matter is, it depends on how big your gob is, doesn't it? You know, if I'm eating a half of a cake, the slices are much larger, which means my mouth has got to be a lot bigger to put them in. And I do have a big gob. From years and years of practice, I do have a big gob of eating cake. So yeah, and if you wanted to have small slices, you'd say 2/4 is equivalent to. Let's do another one. So you might have, where's my pen? Here it is. So yeah, so I could do another one, couldn't I? So in this case, I might well have a third. So I might draw a third. So I've got to cut it into slices. Okay, so draw it out. Go on, get it down. Can you draw out a third? Draw out a third if you can. So I recommend use a rectangle, 2 lines, slice it in thirds. And that means we've got 3 pieces. Okay, so I might have 1/3 here, for example. But then could you create an equivalent? Could you create an equivalent? Continue to slice it. Continue to slice it. So we could continue to slice our third into halves. So I could slice this third into a half, and I could slice this third into halves, and I could slice this third into halves. In which case, we're still dealing with an equivalent, because I've still got the same amount of blue I already had, but now I've got 2 blue pieces out of, remember that line means out of, a possible 6 pieces. And we would say that 2/6 is equivalent to 1/3. What would we say? 2/6 is equivalent to 1/3. That's right. Okay. And we would also say that 1/3 is equivalent to 2/6. Okay. And that makes sense. Because remember, equivalent, what does it mean? It means equal to. What does equivalent mean? Equal. So equivalent fractions are equal to other fractions. So 2/6 is equal to 1/3, is equal to 1/3, but it's just sliced differently. It's just sliced differently. So in the 1/3, the slice is much bigger. 2/6, the slice is much bigger. And we could continue to slice it even after that. We could continue to slice it even after that. So continue to slice your 6ths now. Continue to slice your 6ths. So I'm going to half them. Of course, you don't have to half them. You cut each slice in a third. You cut each slice into 6, into 8, whatever you want. You know, and you will always end up with an equivalent at that point. So now, what equivalent do I have now? Put it in the comments. Pop it in the comments if you can. What equivalent do I have now? Fractions that are equal but sliced differently. You want to say it to yourself several times to get it into your head. That'll help you. So we would say we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces there that are blue. 4 pieces there are blue. Out of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'd say that is the same as 4/12. Question: if this was cake, would I put on more weight from eating a third, or would I put on more weight eating 4/12? What would happen then? You tell me. Of course, I'd put on the same amount of weight because I'd be eating the same amount, the equivalent amount. But then to take it further, what happens is they don't tend to ask you questions like that, to be honest, in your test. What will happen is in your test, I've got a little ruler. Oh, I didn't know I had a ruler. Can I do anything with it? Can I do anything with it? Oh, that's quite cool. Oh, I've lost it. I've lost it. So actually in your test, here's what's going to happen actually. You'll get questions like this. You'll say, well, look, you know, I've got 1/2, and that would be equal to how many, let's say 8s. So 1/2 would be the same as how many 8s, and you have to find the mystery number. And that's very, very common. You have to say, how would you find the mystery number? Okay, and you can do that in several ways. So we could draw it out. So first I'd start off with a half, and and I think this is one of the places that people kind of go wrong because they're kind of keen to stop writing it down and drawing it, because it's a lack of convenience there, isn't it? It takes a bit longer to draw it, but because they can't draw it, they can't visualize it, which means they can't make sense of it. So make sure you can always draw your fractions out too. That would be really helpful. And then we would say we've got 1/2 would be the same as, let's see, how many 8s? Well, what would I have to cut my slices into to get to 8s? Well, I'd have to have 4 on each side, wouldn't I? So if I cut this one into 4, this slice into 4, and then I cut this slice into 4 as well, then I will have 8s, won't I? So that would be equal to, how many do I have there? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of a possible 8, you see? But there's a way, let's see, but if you can do it without drawing it too, you should be able to do it without drawing. The question we would ask ourselves is, what do I need to multiply 2 by to get to 8? What do I need to multiply 2 by to get to 8? I would times it by 4. So whatever I do to the bottom number, I do at the top. Repeat it after me. Whatever I do to the bottom number, I do to the top. So I times that one by 4, times that one by 4, and I'll get the same answer. You see, so you can draw it out and work it out by drawing it, or you can write it and use your maths. If you're lucky enough to know your times tables, if you don't know your times tables, this is where you will struggle. If you don't know your times tables yet, this is where you are going to struggle. It all starts to unpeel from here. So if you don't know it yet, join our times table groups, get in touch with us, we'll help you out. We will help you out. Let's do another one. Okay, so let's go with say 2/3. Let's go with say 2/3. And that is the same as, shall we say, 9ths? Let's go with 9ths. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out my 2/3. First thing I'm going to do, draw out my 2/3. You should be doing this too. Get a pen, get a pad, grab a drink, make sure you got this done. Pause the video if you need to. If you're watching this back, pause it, that's fine. Hey, so you can pause it if it's live streaming too, so that's fine. Yeah, pause it, give yourself some time. First I'm going to colour in 2/3. 1, 2, 3. No, sorry, 2/3, there we go. 2/3 of black. And I'd say, well, let's see, what about if I wanted to cut it into 9ths, an equivalent of 9ths? Well, that means if I've got 3 slices, how much more would I have to cut it up? If I have 3 slices, how much more would I have to cut it up? Well, the truth is I'd have to cut it into 3 slices here, and 3 slices here, and 3 slices here, because that would make 9, wouldn't it? Okay, that would make 9. So here, I'm going to cut this one into 3. So that one's going to cut equally into 3, because that's what a fraction is. Remember, it's just an equal slice. I'm going to cut it equally. And then I'm going to cut this one into 3 as well. And then I'm going to cut this one into 3 too. You see, so I've got, so now it's out of 9ths. Now it's out of 9ths. And then I'm going to count it up. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 9. And so you can do it by drawing and using your visual your visual reasoning skills, your spatial reasoning skills. You can do it like that, or you can do it using your maths, which does tend to make things a bit easier, to be fair. And that is, by the way, what maths is supposed to do. It's supposed to make life easier. I know it doesn't always work like that, but if it can, but it does have that power. Let's go with a purple today, actually. Let's go with a nice little purple. I like purple. Okay, so the question is, the magical question you need to ask yourself, if you're just doing this without drawing, and you do need to be able to do this kind of problem without drawing, find your equivalents without drawing it out, you do need to use your times tables. So the question is, the magical thing we ask ourselves is, how many, let's see, what do I need to multiply 3 by to get to 9? What do I need to multiply 3 by to get to 9? So if you know your 3 times table, you can do this. 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. So what do I have to multiply 3 by to get to 9? Yes, that's right, 3. Okay, and then whatever I do to the bottom number, I do at the top number. So if I multiply that by 3 to get to 9, I have to multiply that by 3 to get to 9 as well. So 2 times 3 is, of course, 6. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, so can you draw your fractions? Can you write your fractions? Can you tell me what an equivalent fraction is? Can you tell me what a regular fraction is? Do you know all of these definitions? If you don't know it yet, you do need to know it. Okay, so do get that down. Okay, do challenge your children regularly to remember those definitions, because it will help. But the truth is, to be successful in a test, what you'll need to be able to do is you'll need to be able to do it without drawing it. And this means using your times tables. And it's at this point where most kids start to go wrong. honestly, this is the point where most kids start to go wrong because they haven't learned their times tables properly. Even if they can do it correctly now, it very quickly gets forgotten because the routine isn't easily embedded unless they know they find working with numbers easy. So we might well go with, say, 2/5, and I would say that is the same as how many 20ths, and that's a standard question. And to do this, you need to remember 2 rules. First of all, let's see, the magical thing you need to say, what do I need to times the bottom number? What do I need to times, sorry about my scratchy handwriting, it's writing on an iPad, it's tricky. What do I need to times my bottom numbers with, called the denominator for those people in the know, bottom numbers with, okay, so what do I need to multiply by my 5 by to get to 20? What do I need to multiply my 5 by to get to 20? I multiply it by 5, 10, use your fingers for focus, 5, 10, 15, 20. If your child aren't using their fingers to count with, that might be a problem. Obviously, you don't need to do it all the time, but if they're not using their fingers and coming up short and not always getting the right answer, that suggests they probably do need to use their fingers to focus more. Oh my God, I'm a maths teacher and I got it wrong. Hopefully nobody noticed that. What do I times 5 by to get 20? 5, 10, 15, 20. Look at your fingers. 4. I multiply it by 4. That's it. Okay. So remember, and the second rule is whatever I do at the bottom number, whatever I do to the bottom number, I do number. That's supposed to say number, by the way. Number. I do to the top. I do to the top. Okay, so I multiply the 5 by 4, so that guess what do I have to do at the top? I have to times the top one by 4 as well. Okay, and that gets me to 8. All right, so that would be 2/5 would be the same as 8/20. Okay, 2/5 would be the same as 8/20. And they're equivalent fractions, fractions that are equal but are sliced differently. Let's see, the problems get much harder from there as well. Okay, but this tends to be the first point where children start to have real troubles. Okay, so create some of your own questions, try and solve them. Let me know how you're getting on with it. Feel free to post in the comments as well. I want to know that what I'm doing is actually being helpful. All right. Should we do another one? Just do some, so we go with 3, 6. And, if your child does have trouble with their times tables, then for God's sake, don't choose your 6 times tables down here. Don't choose your 7s, don't choose your 8s, don't choose your 9s, because they're going to have trouble with it. It's going to be like pulling teeth. It's going to be murder. Choose times tables they can work with, which is probably going to be, if they're in year 3, they should be pretty sound with their 2 times table, their 5 times table, and their 10 times table. So don't feel you're cheating them by just giving them easy times tables, because you're not. You're not cheating them at all. All you're doing is making the approach more possible. We call these procedures, and it's easier to learn a procedure if the maths is easier. Okay, and then we can make the maths more challenging as they become more proficient within their times tables. Okay, so what I'm going to assume, so we're going to say 3, 6 is the same as how many, let's see, we'll go with number in the 6 times table, 6, 12, 18, 24. Let's go with, let's say, 24. Okay, what do we have to do to the bottom number? So first thing is we need to, whatever we do to the bottom number, we do to the top number. So what do I need to multiply 6 by to get 24? Fingers for focus. 6, 12, 18, 24. So I'm going to multiply 8 by 4. And then what will I do to the top number? Of course, I'm going to do the same thing. And it's just a routine. That's it. It's like riding a bike. It's just a routine. 3 times 4, which is 12, 3, 6. Oh, 3, 6, 9, 12. Sorry. Messed up there for a second. And of course, you can do another thing. You could then multiply. What the point is, you can find any equivalent just by simply multiplying the top number by the same as the bottom number. So multiply it by 2. That makes 24 48s. You can multiply it by 3, or multiply it by 4, or multiply it by 5. As long as whatever you do the top number, you do the bottom number. Okay, you'll be fine. You'll be looked after. That's absolutely fine. So challenge your child to be able to find equivalent fractions today. Challenge your child to find equivalent fractions tomorrow, and challenge your child to find equivalent fractions the day after. And if after all they've listened to this, they go, yeah, it kind of makes sense, then you're on the right track. So all you need to do now is just practice hard, okay? Because it's in the head, and that's like keeping it there, all right, through positive practice. Just check it. It doesn't have to be much either. because obviously you don't want it to be a drag. They all want to be beating each other up on Fortnite at the end of the day, don't they? So, don't make it a drag. Just literally 30 seconds to 1 minute. Just step in, challenge them to do it. And that will very, very quickly create long-lasting memories. Okay, so yeah. Please feel free to continue to get in touch with us. Remember, we've got Sunday sessions. If your child does have trouble with their times tables, don't leave it to chance that they'll work it out. They might not do. Okay, in fact, many kids don't. If they don't learn, if you don't go out of your way to make sure they're learned, they just don't get learned necessarily. So make sure do feel free to reach out, get involved in our times table turnaround sessions. We're going to create massive progress for your child in a very short space of time, and that'll help them go to school feeling really, really strong. There's only 50 days to go until the SATs. So they're probably getting SATs papers sent home all the time. They might well be doing them in school as well. Do check in with them. Hey, what was your score on that test yesterday? Were you pleased with it? Are they keeping it quiet? Are they going, oh, I don't think we did a test yesterday, but actually full well that they did. Then that suggests that things may not be so good. So keep your ear to the ground. Listen to your children. That's very important that you listen, because if you don't, that can create anxiety in them, and that can make them feel very isolated and lonely. So try not to do that. Always listen. I know a lot of what they say is rubbish. And if kids, you're listening to this right now, you know it is. We're grown-ups. Got better things to listen to than I'm talking about Fortnite. We love hearing about it, but parents do listen to it, even the nonsense. Listen to that too. Make sure they feel heard, because then they'll go into school feeling more confident and feeling happier. Okay, so yeah, get in touch with us. Please feel free to drop any comments in the thing below, in the comments box below, whatever you want to call the thing. Okay, and please do share us. I'm desperate for customers. Please, I want people to talk to me. Okay, no, go onto YouTube, share us on there. You'll find lots of new content added on there too. Instagram, we're upgrading the page. Don't like the look of it. I've tried. It's just a full-time job, all the social media nonsense, and I'm a teacher. I don't want to do all the social media stuff necessarily. I just want to be able to help people, so I've got to try and find that. And of course, share us on Facebook too. I hope what we're doing is really, really helpful. Do tell us if it is. Yeah, much love. I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful week with your children and, in school. And that they're coming back with lots of happy stories, because that's what school's about, really. It's about making lots of happy stories, lots of happy experiences to share, and yeah, hope your children are going in strong. Okay, take care, everybody. Thanks ever so much. I'll speak to you soon.